What are the top 6 One Piece boxes to buy right now? Well, the One Piece market is constantly booming. Some boxes are stagnating, some boxes are 2xing, and some boxes are 3xing. So this list is constantly evolving, but today is my updated list, January 20th, 2026. This is the list for the top 6 to buy. Just a warning, these will not be in any specific order. It is very difficult to predict for a 3-year-old TCG the exact order. So if I can't really, predict it, I'm just not going to. But this is definitely the top 6 that I think are worth buying. Alrighty, so number 6 is OP09 at $620. This set is a really good set. First of all, it's got a couple things. It's got a Manga Luffy, it's got a Gold Roger, it has the Manga Buggy, which is pretty decent. It has, it definitely has some heat inside. It also has wanted posters, which are incredibly popular now. They are ridiculously popular. OP13 has done a really good job at making those like really popular. Arguably the second most popular thing behind mangas that you can pull. They're very popular. This has a Gear 5 Luffy wanted poster, which is really big deal. So overall, it's a really good set, and I definitely do think it is worth the $620 price range. I was debating putting EBO2 here. While EBO2 is a really good set, it's like $100 less, but it's like probably 2 times as, well, OP09 is 2 times as good as EBO2 in my opinion. So I was thinking about putting EBO2 here, but OP9 definitely does win it. If I'm being honest with you, anniversary sets are just kind of guaranteed to be a slam dunk. Definitely worth your money in my opinion. So that's number 6. Number 5 are OP13 boxes for $500. Now, with this specific box, I just want to give a quick warning. I probably would dollar cost average into this. I would not buy it, go all in at these prices, because there is a chance that it'll pull back. Realistically, we don't know. It's very difficult to predict these kind of things, but it being $500 is almost 4 times MSRP, so it is definitely up there. It's honestly, I feel like it is something that would be smart to dollar cost average. You shouldn't dollar cost average into everything. Like a Blue Bottom, for example. How are you going to dollar cost average into that? You're going to buy a 6.5k box a week. Like, you can't really dollar cost average into that. But something like OP13, I think it is worth it. The reason is because I wouldn't want to pass up this. It's a really good set, so you wouldn't want to miss out, but at the same time, it is still very new. So there's good arguments for both sides. There's a really good argument on why you should wait, and there's a really good argument on why you should buy it right now. So I think the solution is a little bit of both. That is a really safe way to go about things. So OP13 is a really good box. I don't really need to give much of an introduction to it, but it has an expensive chase, and you need to look at what the audience likes. You need to look at the people who open up One Piece. What do they like? They want the thrill. They want to chase the expensive card. Every single box that has ever been successful has some $10,000 card inside. If it doesn't have a $10,000 card inside, it actually really struggles to move up compared to those sets. So it needs some heat inside. It needs some chases, and OP13 has it. So sometimes just having a popular character like Luffy, making it really rare, it works, and it's enough for a set to do really well. So that's where OP13 is headed. Now, before I say number 4, I just want to quickly say, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing, liking, and commenting. It really does support the channel a ton. Basically, whenever you interact with a post, it just tells YouTube that you really like the video and it should be pushed out more. So I appreciate everyone who does that. And if you're not in the Discord server, make sure to be in the Discord server. We have really good conversations there, talking about Pokemon investing, One Piece investing, or just all these other conversations as well. So make sure to join it. I talk there every single day. I'll see you there. But number 4 is Blue Bottom for 6.5k. So Blue Bottom it's a very interesting situation. So basically, Blue Bottom, the premium for it over White Bottom is expanding. So this is something that I haven't really seen many people talk about. I might make a video dedicated to it because I think it is something definitely worth talking about. However, when it comes to buying OP01, Blue Bottom or White Bottom, which one should you buy? Realistically, it doesn't really matter. You're going to make a lot of money anyways. But if you want to maximize your returns, and if you do have the cash for it, Blue Bottom. The reason why is because a couple of years ago, I bought a Blue Bottom for about $600 and I bought a White Bottom for about $300. So there was about a 2x premium on the Blue Bottom over the White Bottom. Well, now that premium has gone up. So right now, White Bottoms sell for about 2.5k. Meanwhile, Blue Bottoms sell for about 6.5k, meaning that the premium has gone up by about 22% because 2 times 2.5 is $5,000. You get an extra $1,500. It's about 22%. So you have about, let's just say a 25 just for the sake of math, a 25% bump in premium. So yes, they've both gone up, but you've actually outperformed if you owned Blue Bottom. So that's where I kind of sit with White Bottom. I think it is definitely worth buying. If you're going to buy it, go ahead and do it. It's definitely worth it. But I do think Blue Bottom is better for that reason. And then finally, when you look at other TCGs, things like Pokemon, you'll notice that the first ed boxes is like 300k. Meanwhile, the Unlimited is about 40k. So you can see a very big price discrepancy there. So yeah, that's just kind of how I feel there. I think that the premium will expand, so it is definitely worth it. When Blue Bottom is 100k, would something like OPO1 be like 50k? Would it be 30k? I don't think it's going to have that 122% premium. I think it's going to be much more in the future. It may expand to 150, then 200%, then 300%, and then maybe in 5 years' time we've got like a 1000%, similar to how Pokemon has a 1000% premium on the normal versus first ed boxes. So that's my logic there. I think there is a couple things to back it up. We can see the trends, we can see the demand. So that's why I think Blue Bottom is worth it, especially the fact that you are shielded against reprints, and also hasn't really jumped up a lot in the last month. A lot of boxes have jumped up about 50 to 100, maybe even 200%. Meanwhile, Blue Bottom hasn't actually moved up a whole ton. I actually have an entire series looking at a spreadsheet that I track every single booster box every single week. The spreadsheet is completely free. If you want to access it, just click the link in the description, and I have a spreadsheet so you can just see the prices, and you can see Blue Bottom is lagging behind. It ran up a lot earlier in the year, but it is seriously lagging behind. This entire craze has only gone up by about $2,000, which actually isn't really a lot, considering you're seeing some cards go up like 500%, 1,000%, and you're seeing some boxes go up like 500%. Not 1,000%, but like some of them going on 500%. So it is definitely like not really much compared to that. So that's why I think it is definitely worth buying. And also you are shielded against reprints and other goodies like that. Now, before we continue this video, I just want to say, if you are shopping on eBay or TCGplayer and you plan to pick up any of these, make sure to use my affiliate link before you buy it. Basically, you just click the link, and what happens is then I just get a small kickback when you make a purchase within 24 hours of clicking it. It helps support the channel a ton. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it really does go a long way. Thank you for everyone who's doing it. It is the best way to support the channel, so I really appreciate it. But anyways, let's continue with the video. But the next on the list is PRBO1 for about $920. So PRBO1, oh man, it has a very interesting history. So PRBO1 holds the most mangas in any set. And mangas, if they are going to be the like big grail for trading cards that everybody's saying, constantly people throwing out saying that mangas are going to be like one of the rarest, most sought after things you can get in all of trading cards. Like, for sports cards, a lot of time you have like rookie cards or signed cards, special stuff like that. For Pokemon, you got things like, PSA 10 first eds, like, Charizard, Blastoise, and maybe like a Gold Stars and Ponchos. And then for Magic of the Gathering, you've got the Power 9, so you've got stuff there, and like the no reprint list, it's something like that. I'm not too familiar with Magic, but I think it's like no reprint list or something like that. Like a select cards that they've chosen not to reprint. It's something like that. But when it comes to One Piece, we get mangas. So if PRP has the most mangas, then it doesn't take a genius to know it is definitely worth buying. Now, I haven't really ever talked about PRBO1 that much, and the reason is because it was overpriced. Now it's no longer overpriced. When this craze when this channel started a couple months ago, things like OP13, they were like $170. When this channel started, things like OP09 was like $220. However, a PRPO1 was like $750. Now it's $920. It's actually, once again, barely gone up because I had a massive run up earlier this year, but it's still barely gone up, which means, in my opinion, there's a lot more juice left in the tank. Compare that to something like OP13, which is up like 300% in this market craze, or things like OPO9, which is up almost 300% in this market craze, or 200% in this market craze, then yeah, okay, well, PRBO9, you start to see the pieces build up together, right? You still start to see the argument make sense. So yeah, it's got all the most mangas than any other set. It has God packs, and once again, you've got to look at what people want. They want the expensive packs. They want the expensive chases. So God pack is great. If you pull a God pack, honestly, I haven't checked the prices of everything, but I would probably say it's worth 30 to 40 grand as a PSA 10 if you get a full PSA 10 lineup. Maybe even more. I don't know, I'd have to look at it. But yeah, probably about 30 grand for a PSA 10 lineup. So yeah, you open up a box that's $900. You can pull 30 grand worth of stuff. I mean, that's worth it. So yeah, I think that it's definitely got that potential. When everything is overpriced, it actually starts to look really juicy. It starts to look really good. Things like OP13, it was $170. Well, what's better, buying like four of that or one PRB09? Well, now you can't even buy two OP13 boxes with the money that you used to buy PRB01. OP09, you could buy three and a bit. Well, now you can't even buy two. So, do you see my logic? The ratio hasn't it's lagged behind, similar to Blue Bottom. So yeah, PRB09 definitely up there. Number 2 is PRB02. PRB02 is a fantastic set, and it's one of the cheapest booster boxes that are like actually good sets. So it has the Gum Gum Giant, which is a really, really nice card. It has another Monkey D. Luffy card, which is really, really nice. It has some other really nice cards inside, but the main thing is the Sanji. It's the only Sanji manga. There is no reprint of it. There is no second Sanji like PRB01, how it kind of stuffed over a lot of the original mangas. If you were there when PRB01 came out, all hell broke loose. It was insane. People were fire selling their mangas. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when PRB01 came out, that was actually the cheapest mangas ever got. The original mangas, because I remember there was so much panic selling. I actually remember this guy, he listed a Sabu OP04 for, it was the original manga, for, I think it was like $300 less. It was insane. It was like $250 for a manga. Like, the fear was insane. It was unmatched. Oh gosh, that was the good old days right back then. But basically, on the context of PRB02, there's no reprint. So there's only one Sanji, and based on what some reprint shippers have told me, it's actually really difficult to pull. So there's a lot of things pointing towards PRB02's possible success in the future. It's one of the last relatively affordable boxes, so I think it's worth it. In my opinion, I definitely think it's worth grabbing. But then that moves us to OP05, which is number 1 for $1,050. So this set is insanely underpriced right now. I think it's going to jump to $1,500 quite soon. So there's a couple of reasons why I believe that. So first of all, let's just start off with the best one. It was selling for about $900, the booster box, when the manga was selling for about $10,000 as a PSA 10. Now the manga sells for $20,000. So the manga has literally doubled. The top chase has gone up by $10,000 as a PSA 10, and the box has only moved up by like 10%. First of all, that's just a big red flag right there. That's why I think it's going to do really well. Big reason there. Another thing is that, when are they going to make another Gear 5 Luffy? Really? When are they going to? PRB01 is incredibly expensive. The manga from there is incredibly expensive. OP05, when are they going to do another one? Maybe the TCG is really in the slums in like 4, 5, 6 years, and they can use it for a rainy day. Maybe the economy isn't doing that good, and they want a nice little boost for their TCG, so maybe they can do something then. But when are they realistically going to do one? It's the pinnacle of One Piece, because you've got, Luffy, which is definitely the most popular character of One Piece, like there's not a doubt. And then you've got Gear 5, which is the most popular gear. So then, it's kind of the pinnacle. It's at the peak. And then you've also got the signature Luffy, which is also pretty good. That definitely does add to it. It is a very expensive card that you can pull. So yeah, I think that it is definitely worth considering grabbing some OP05 if you are in the budget to grab one. It's something where it's probably shielded from reprints. I don't know if they'll ever get a reprint again, but it's the least likely that can get reprinted, because the first 4 are going out of rotation this year, which means they're done, they're finished. OP05 is then the least likely because it is the oldest of the ones that's still in rotation. So then, in that instance, it is like the most shielded one. So there's probably going to be very little turbulence downwards, and there's a lot of upside potential. So yeah, let me know what you're holding. I'm very curious to see what you guys will think of this. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you for watching.